Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Texas Real Estate Show. And here we are on this bright and wonderful morning. I've been told we've got rain coming into Houston today. So here we are to inform everybody about everything real estate. So whether you want to invest in real estate or you're looking at selling your home, buying a home, we're the ones, and we want to be the information spot where you can go to YouTube and you can find out various information. I'm here with my good friend Kay this morning. How you doing, Kay?
I am good. We're the information station, I like to say.
Information station. You all ready for Labor Day?
Like you said, I
It's
just
come
kind
around
of,
so quickly.
I'm just not, you know, hey,
I
I'm right here on
didn't even
Mondays.
know it was Labor Day till this morning. That's
We
how I get so busy with things. I sort of get wrapped up in things.
we'll have a barbecue in the parking lot.
Might not be an idea. We did that one year.
Really?
Yeah, we did. We did. Yeah, we had an office Labor Day party in the parking lot.
That's so funny.
And there was a few bevies going around in the parking lot. The landlord wasn't happy. So anyway, we are going to talk today about some points that Kate actually brought up, and I want Kate to introduce the first one. This is from a movie, and it's sort of semi-true and semi-not true. So Kate, do you want to start that off?
Yeah, so this is from a movie or a show called The Big Shot, and I just wanted to see, what
My feelings were.
Yeah, because, he is the expert when it comes to real estate and things like that. So here we go. We're gonna watch this and talk about it right now.
What's up, man? I'm surveying mortgage owners who are over 90 days delinquent. I'm looking for a Harvey Humpsey.
You want my landlord's dog?
Your landlord filled out his mortgage application using his dog's name?
Has that asshole not been paying his mortgage? Because I've been paying my rent.
Well, yeah, he is over 90 days delinquent.
Am I gonna have to leave?
So do applicants ever get rejected?
Look, if they get rejected, I suck at my job. No income, no job. I just leave the income section blank if I want. Corporate doesn't care. These people just want homes.
Do people have any idea what they are buying?
I focus on the immigrants, Once they find out they're getting a home, they sign where you tell them to sign. Don't ask questions. Don't understand the rates.
Like an idiot.
Look, I'm a yield guy. I make $2,000 on a fixed rate prime, but I can make $10,000 on a subprime adjustable. Trust me, I'm not driving a 7 Series without strippers.
Hey, there's a bubble. Trust me, call Venet.
So yeah.
So what's my thoughts on that? You're gonna say?
Yeah, and can you also explain essentially what they're saying, because he threw out a lot of numbers, and I suck at numbers, as you know. So
No, you don't. Let me tell you. I don't think this applies now because Obama brought a regulation called Dodd-Frank around 2008, 2010, and I think a lot of loan officers got real upset because they felt as if it was a lot of red tape. But I think it protected a lot of people out there from loan people. I did a lot of foreclosures in the early 2000s to 2011. One month I got 47 foreclosures across my desk. And there were people out there that was taking advantage of, and I do think, of people that it wasn't explained the process of purchasing a house. It wasn't communicated to them, the loan process. And what was happening was, what caused part of the crash was, they was doing loans that were as 125. They was giving loans to people who was buying a house of 105% of the value. So, for example, if there was a house for 100,000, they would loan you up to 125,000, in the hope that you'd spend the $25,000 on the house. Well, perhaps some people wasn't spending that $25,000 on the house. Then all the values of the homes dropped. So what happens? people say, well, there's no need for me to pay that money back. I'm just going to drop the house. You know, they drop the house. My personal feeling was with a lot of the houses that I visited, I felt there was a lot of Hispanic families that basically, through English or miscommunication or whatever you want, they was being evicted because they didn't understand what it meant to own a home in the US and what came with that, the maintenance, the taxes, and all the other things that came with that. And I blame the loan officers, and I also blame some of them real estate agents for not fully, you know, explaining the situation. Now, please remember, this clip is from a film.
Right.
So
what about the other part of the film where he was like, oh, you're looking for, you know,
2,000, 10,000.
No. You're looking for my landlord's dog. And the guy signed his dog's name as the owner of the house.
Well,
so
as I said, God can't change all that.
right, but
Because-
that's it.
Because, you know,
People are actually looking.
You've got to prove yourself. You've got to have, you know, I mean, they're looking, you know, they're checking your credit.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to supply job stubs and, you know, pay stubs and stuff. So it isn't quite like that anymore. It's a lot harder. Even with the changes recently with real estate, I would rather be a real estate agent at the moment.
Mhm.
Loan officers, you know, they go down such a fine path now, and they have to get it right. You know, people don't understand how hard it is to get a loan, but at the same time, it is gradually getting easier to get a loan. You know, and that's one of the things that's made it difficult for people to buy homes over the last, you know, to get onto the housing market, you know, for the last, easily up to the last 10 years. And it's made it, and what it's done, it's made it easier for some of the corporations out there to go grab the properties.
Yeah. Well, you know, I just thought this was a great movie because it's actually about it's something that fueled the 2007 through 2008 housing crisis. So I think that, or the financial crisis of 2007 2008.
Well,
So it
the
was
truth
great.
of the matter is, before Dodd-Frank came in,
Mhm.
which, you know, Obama brought in, you could literally, you know, your dog could get fined.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was interesting because this is literally that's what this whole movie is about actually.
I got one loan for one investment property that I had, and all I had to do was to sign a bit of paper to say that I earned X amount of money.
With no proof?
No, it was just, and then there was another part which really hurts which really hurt the market, which was called robo-signing. So what would happen was, when you closed at the title company, you would sign a document which would say that you agree as the buyer to agree to robo-signing. So you had companies, and some of the companies that were guilty of this were Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and such like. And they will give you notice, and when they foreclose on a property, basically they give you 30 days notice, then they give 60-day notice to pay, then 90-day notice, and they do try to contact you.
Mm-hmm.
If they can't contact you, they could sign the foreclosure paperwork for you, so you had to let your house go.
Wow.
They had to go to court,
Right.
and go to a judge and say, okay, we've tried to present it on this date, this date, this date, and the judge will say, okay, you can robo-sign the document. And then people was losing their houses.
Yeah, because of that. That is so insane. There's a meme. There's a meme for, you know, like people my age and, you know, younger, and it goes, man, I should have been investing in stocks and investing in that home in 2008 instead of being in 4th grade. It's great.
Yeah, they're not right. They're not right.
Yeah, right. But so, now I wanted to, move forward kind of talking about investing in homes, I guess. What you thought about this guy, what he kind of says about flipping houses is
You would never.
maybe not the way to go.
Let's just
Yeah.
before we get on to that, we're going to move on, everybody, just so you understand where we're going to about flipping houses. There's a lot of people out there saying how you're going to make your fortune flipping houses. The people that are making money on the whole version of flipping houses are the people that are so-called teaching you and doing the scams like the Donald Trump scam on how to teach you to flip a house. Them are the people that are making the money. They're making the money on the education part, but the education part isn't the same in every state. So they go around the country teaching their so-called system, but in some states it doesn't apply. Now, what I want to say to you is the video that you're going to see is a typical example. And I want to, before we go on to the video, explain that when I was selling the foreclosures, one of my clients used to buy what they call, he used to buy the foreclosures in bulk, which is basically a lot of foreclosures, which is no lot of, it's a bulk of foreclosures. So it might include some foreclosures that were 300,000, some foreclosures that he considered 50,000, some foreclosures that was 500,000, and it was a way how Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and HUD could get rid of some of these foreclosures and move them as a bunch. All right. And he used to do all of that in Houston, and he bought one lot in Houston, and he did okay at it. He didn't do great, but he did okay, and he used to keep them as rentals. Anyway, one day he came to me and he said, hi Stephen, I want to thank you for doing all the business with me, but I've decided that I am going to buy some properties, because I can buy some of these properties in Detroit, and I can buy these properties in Detroit. I mean, for like, some of them are as low as $500, $1,000 for
$10
for some of these properties. So with that being said, roll the clip, Kay.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy.
This door's open. Your door should not be open. I'm gonna bet somebody broke into this thing. Door's popped wide open. Door's unlocked. Hello? Hello? So this house, somebody broke into. Both of these doors should be locked. Neither one of them are, which means someone was in here and unlocked them. One of the biggest red flags you have here, you have a lockbox wide open on the main street. So what does that tell people? Number one, it tells the people the house is vacant, the house is empty. Number two, it means there's a reason for people to be coming in and out of this house, which means you're probably renovating it, maybe you're selling it. That means there's something in there worth taking. Number three, it means if they shake the box, you can hear the key in there. I guarantee you, someone's gonna come up here, shake that box, hear it jingle, and they're gonna bust it open and be right inside that house. Number one rule, investing in Detroit, do not put lock boxes in the open, especially on a main road.
Yeah, so there you go.
Well, the last part of the story was the person that bought the houses in Detroit, he's still got some of them in Detroit, and some of them he's tried to fix them up over and over again. He's had them broken into. He's got some of them as rentals, and he uses them as rentals, and he uses local management companies. But a lot of them properties he hasn't been able to move, and actually they've come down in value. If he bought the same properties for the same amount of money in Houston, I reckon it would have probably doubled by now.
Yeah, especially, I mean, I remember when people were like, you can buy houses for $20 in Detroit, things of that nature.
In some neighborhoods, you can buy it for $1.
Yeah, and it's like, of course, I mean,
as long as you fix the house up, but you've got to live in it to get it for that price.
Right. And then also,
and then that areas that you wouldn't want to live in.
Exactly. I'm not living there. That is absurd. That's terrifying. I don't, I don't want to go there. Absolutely not. So, like you said, you think that house flipping is great, which you know, it can be, but you also have to do the research, and especially because he's not in Detroit, so he's not even able to protect the
But
houses.
the appreciation in Detroit isn't even going to go up. Not at the moment.
Yeah. It was for like a second, and then it just went down right after.
No, they've got to get more jobs there. There's a lot more infrastructure that's got to be done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, without people having jobs and having good jobs, then the economy and the local areas just aren't going to.
It's just gonna stay awful.
Right.
So.
Now let's move on to the next article, which sort of is the same sort of thing, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. That's about flipping.
That this guy has a better approach to it.
Let's see.
You will never build long-term wealth by flipping houses. Here's why. Let's say you bought this house behind me for $560,000 as a fixer. Now you put in $140,000 to rehab this property to make it look nice. So now your all-in cost is $700,000. Based on all the home in the area, this home is worth today $900,000 based on the comp. So let's say you decide to flip this property. You put this on the market for $900,000, you owe $700,000. You have $200,000 profit, but you don't get $200,000 profit because half of that money goes to Uncle Sam, so you're only making $100,000 profit. But if you decide to keep the property to build long-term wealth like I do, you don't have to pay Uncle Sam any of the tax. You have to keep all $200,000 to yourself. On top of that, if I keep the property and I let the property appreciate the next 10 years, based on history, it will double in value. It will go from $900,000 to $1.8 million, which means I will have a total of $1.1 million with the sweat equity, $900,000 in appreciation and the other $200,000 originally.
Mm-hmm.
You don't?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I want to say about that. He's right in what he's saying, but I don't agree with his numbers.
Oh yeah, he's throwing out absurd numbers.
And I want to say I think the market is going to change now. First of all, I agree with him where he says if you're going to flip a house, hold on to it and rent it out. Okay, there's a lot of tax advantages to it, you know. So you can hopefully, you know, build wealth. The longer you hold on to the house, then the more it's going to be worth. But I think there's different strategies on how you manage that property. A lot of people, what they do is they put the rent up $200 every year or $300 every year. Well, the clients move out, they get pissed. And then what happens is you've got to fix it up. You've got to repaint it. You've got to do a make ready. You've got to repair things. And you have to do that. There's you know, somebody moves into a house, they want it to, if a new tenant moves into a home, they want it to smell of fresh paint. All right? It makes such a huge difference.
They want to see the lines in the carpets so it's freshly vacuumed.
Right. You know, and I don't expect any of my tenants to stay in a property that I wouldn't stay in myself. So basically, I will put my rents up a little bit each year. Maybe, you know, on some of my high-end properties, I only put it up $500 or $500, $50. Or I think the most I put it up last year on one of the properties was $100, but that's because the guy always pays late. But what the things I just want to dwell on with this particular guy, I think he's got his philosophy right, but he's got his numbers wrong.
Yeah.
If he paid, was it 700,000 for the house, correct?
340,000. Let's see. I'm sorry, $560,000 for the house, $140 for the rehab, and then
140,000 for the rehab.
Yeah, so altogether 700,000. Yeah.
And then the house was worth
900, and then over 10 years,
so
he's thinking it's going to double.
Hold on. And then you got, if he was to flip
on the comp.
property at
So let's say you decide to,
he'd pay half this in taxes.
Right.
Okay. But he said if he holds on to it, because there's a 2-year rule on capital gains tax, then he would keep all of the money. I don't think the house would go up that amount of money over 10 years.
Yeah, there's no way. That's
and
crazy.
The reason why I say that is the more the value increases, well, first of all, it depends where the location is. But two, the more higher end you go on the property, the more it can decrease the actual amount of the increase. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
So if he
So
wants to sell it for $2 million, then he's really got to do a good upgrade before he sells it in 10 years' time, which is going to cost him more money.
yeah, so someone said in the NRA or the NRA, the NAR says that home values double every 15 years, not every 10 years. On average, every 15 years, depending on where you are. And then in the comments, someone said, that's cap. House flipping is the first thing you should do as a real estate investor. Again, gain capital in order to obtain multifamily to keep it long term. But that's literally what the guy said. He said, you know, you can flip it, but keep it, fix the house up, but keep it like as a multifamily home, the comments are kind of interesting. They said, LOL, absolutely not. Like someone commented, responding said, LOL, absolutely not. Flipping is a job, not an investment strategy.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And people don't understand how much hard work it is.
Yeah. And then somebody said, right, but when you flip houses, you can save up money so you can have more leverage when buying a multifamily home. But that's.
But let me tell you, multifamily homes are so much hard work. The laws are different.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little bit different. Be aware of it with multifamily homes. The laws are different. City ordinances are different for when you go into multifamily housing. I'm not talking about duplexes. I'm not talking about quads. I'm basically talking about 5 units up.
Mm-hmm.
There's an 8-unit property that we're looking at the moment to purchase, and permits and everything else is just
absurd.
A lot more to it.
There's another one. Another comment says, if you think you need a bunch of capital to buy deals, then you're right for your journey. Flipping is a dangerous game to just jump into.
There's people that have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars flipping homes.
Mm-hmm. And then someone commented, I'm just reading the responses because they're arguing in this comment, and they said, how is flipping any more dangerous than buying a property and waiting 5+ years just to see your original investment come back? This is a very slow strategy on how to build. If you're just starting out, you need to flip to build capital. How do you feel?
You can't just flip homes.
If you're just starting out.
You can't just flip homes to build capital. The way that seasoned investors build capital is they buy a house, whether it's flipped or not, then when it appreciates in value, they do a loan pullout, they take the equity out of the house, and they take that equity and they leverage it to buy another house.
Mm.
Now, I know an investor that owns 31 homes, and he's 64 years old, and he owns like 1.4 million on homes that he owns. If something was to happen to him today, can you imagine what mess that would leave his family in?
True.
You better have good life insurance, and that's really what it boils down to. If your life insurance will cover you before anything, because medical expenses in retirement over here are not cheap.
Mm-hmm. So someone said, who buys a house needing a full rehab for that much? Where the F are you buying? Also, why would you ever spend that much anyway?
But that's why I said to you, was it not? Where is he buying? Is he buying in California?
Yeah. He doesn't say where he's purchasing this house from. I don't know where
Here's how you get by.
And that's the beauty, in all fairness, of Texas and the southern coast. Our prices are still affordable. Apparently Houston is one of the most affordable cities still in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's in Washington, so of course it's going to. Washington is psychotically expensive. like it's of course like it's going to double that much because the amount of things that double in Washington is crazy. So yeah, like of course his numbers are like that. It's not going to be the same in Texas or Georgia, or it's just not. You're not making $1 million on a $700,000 investment.
But I still say now,
Unfortunately,
with his costs in the meantime, isn't he? Even if he's leasing it,
Mhm.
I think when he comes to sell the house, he'll have to fix it up all over again.
Yeah.
He'll have to modernize it. He'll have to update it. Because the rule of thumb is all homes should be updated within 10 years.
Especially if he's holding onto it for 10 years, like heck yeah.
So if I buy a $2 million house in 10 years' time, do you think I want to buy it in pieces?
Right, exactly.
Whether it's 10 years' time or not, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Not if I'm good at negotiating.
$1.2 million, and then yeah. So that's it. It's his numbers are interesting.
And here's the other part. I can easily find out what he bought that for 10 years ago.
Yeah, right.
To find out how much equity he's got in the building.
If he's even actually purchased it, he is a real estate owner and a real estate investor, or he's a broker, sorry, and a real estate investor. So he could just be going to random houses and just speaking in front of them. So yeah, but I mean it's good information, no matter what. I think that back in the day, house flipping was a big thing until everyone began to flip
now
houses.
there's a lot of people doing it, and they're overpaying for the properties. At one time there was a mathematical equation which was, okay, if you can buy the house for say 50% of the after repair value and then 25% in repairs, so your total amount of repairs and the cost of the home 75%, that would leave you enough to make some money on the property. But now you've got so many people that are looking for these properties, what's actually happening is they're going up to 85%. That's making very, very, very little, at the top end. What happens if you find something on the repair that you wasn't expecting?
Exactly.
We had that on one of our homes and we didn't make any money on it. We was lucky to break even.
Yeah. So.
But anyways, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We'd love to hear from you. Please comment on the videos that we put in. Kate puts a lot of time into this. So please like, subscribe. We want them thumbs up. And we'd love to see you. My name's Steve Williams. I'm the host of the Texas Real Estate Show. And if you need to find me, you can find me on Google at Century 21 Olympian in Houston, Texas. All my numbers and all my information are there on social media is C21 Olympian TX. And let's see, how do we go to Kay?
You reach out to Steven.
But anyway, so from Kay, it's bye. And from Steven is ta-da for now. We'll see you later. Have a good week. Stay healthy. And most of all, enjoy yourself.